Hey Arisers, what's arising? This is your girl Arye Harmony, and today I want to go over our mental state right now. Before I do, I just want to thank Kay or Kaylar Will for putting out this tweet. I just felt like it was so important to ask this question. I'm gonna try to do a screenshot recording here, so hopefully you can see it pretty well. But as you can see here, this tweet says, mentally, how are y'all? Because I swear we haven't had a break since the ball dropped. When I read that question, I was just like, oh my goodness. I just don't know what was going on. And as I started scrolling through the comments, I was like, wow. I was so amazed and shocked, and there was actually a state of relief. Not only these comments were filled with relative emotions of what's going on right now currently, but they are relative emotions that I'm feeling, that I can relate to. Let me just read some of these comments so you guys can actually know what I'm talking about. And I know Twitter is just like full of so much, but this was just one that stood out to me that I really appreciated, and I just really wanted to make a video on it. As you can see, one says mentally drained and detached. You can see this gif of Will Smith from the Pursuit of Happiness movie. There's another one here. Sis, honestly, I'm not okay. I've gotten busier since quarantine started with work, grad school, and watching my sister's 3 kids. Every time I log into social media, all I see is death and ignorance. Like, this is rough. And you see this gift, it's just like, you know? There's another one here, mentally and emotionally traumatized and drained, terrible, tired, exhausted, depressed, and mentally confused. More distraught now than I was at 19 doing a year sentence for an ounce of weed. This is one here that stood out to me. As you can see, I liked it. Dubs, she said, I'm not religious, but I've had a Bible for years. I didn't want it anymore, but it didn't feel right throwing it away. And for some reason, I couldn't even donate it. This past week, I've been reading the Psalms, and it has brought so much comfort. So, you know, that was something I was really glad to hear. Psalms is definitely, as you can see in my comment, it is a really great place to start reading. Some days are good, some are dark, drained. Therapy will be needed after all of this. Here's a comment from Uncle_Jalapeno. If you're a person that is easily affected by your outside world, at this time, focus on yourself. Get your mind and soul right. Don't let yourself be broken by what's going on. Get yourself in the best shape possible. You're no good to the movement at your weakest. Strengthen up. And I love those words of encouragement because we need strength right now. And I'm not saying we can't deal with people who are weak-minded. We just need to keep going strong. You know, we're already dealing with people who are weak in the mind to loot and disrupt and vandalize and loot. Like, we're already dealing with those people, and I feel like those people are ones that are really weak in the mind. If you don't have yourself together emotionally, just really take some time and focus on yourself. Like the sis said, she finally opened up her Bible and started reading Psalms. I honestly feel like that's just a wonderful thing to do. Here's one that says, honestly, some days I just want to stay in bed. Some days I want to scream and rage. I need to go to a destruction room. You know, and it gets like that sometimes, where all you want to do is just, you know, just scream it out and just let it out in that way. Another one says, fed up. I'm drained, sis, can't lie. At this point, I'm just trying to make it through one day. At this point, I'm just trying to make it through one day. My boyfriend got dragged out of his car last night on his way home from a protest he left because he didn't want to get caught up in the riots. And they arrested him. He was trying to get to safety, and the Phoenix police dragged him and his friends out of the car. That is what Daisy wrote. And then she has a follow-up tweet with, I cried all day Saturday night until Sunday morning because I didn't have any info from my fiance after he drove by a Phoenix protest. It puts us in these emotional situations with loved ones like that, like, because so much is going on, fights, and, you know, people are acting out. And when, even if you don't want to be bothered, or you do want to be bothered, it's just some of our concern with our loved ones making it to the house. You know, we have that concern automatically with our kids, our elders, you know, just people in general, when it's just such a crazy world out there. Like, I just cannot wait to see you at the house. Here's another one. I'm emotionally exhausted. I haven't slept well at all. Here's another one from 777. To be honest, it's like having a lump in your throat when the anxiety builds up, but the lump been growing every day since March. Here's one from DJ. Drained and exhausted. If it isn't watching my people in pain, I'm seeing men and women be disgusting to rape and sexual harassment victims, and then turn around and ask why we don't speak out. Because we knew stuff like this would happen. Drained and desensitized. Here's one from Courtney. I've taken this time to pray and talk to God. Anytime I find myself getting upset about this, I pray and will find comfort there. That's just amazing. That's awesome, Courtney. Here's one from Beauty Behind Madness, and I like this one as well. She said, I feel like I can't think about anything else other than fighting the good fight by educating people and calling out racists, and I love it, but I hate it. I cried last night for the first time since everything went down. It's a lot to handle, but I must continue. And I just love the little gift they have here of this guy giving this lady a hug, or the lady giving the guy a hug. Either way, they're both hugging. I read over those tweets because it was at a point that, let me tell you where I messed up. On day 3 of protesting, I didn't even know that we were on day 3. I ended up looking at so many videos, so many clips, reading so much in a very short amount of time. And it affected me because I crammed so much in a short amount of time. And that's where I messed up at. So that last tweet that I read from Beauty Behind the Madness, Kaylar Will, which she's the one that tweeted it, I related to that so much because I felt like I couldn't really focus on anything else really. I'm in school right now. I'm supposed to be studying for days and days and days until I graduate, but I found myself I can't really focus on my schoolwork as heavily as I was before this whole thing started. And don't get me wrong, injustice and racial issues has been here, but this is different. This is different. This has affected the world. It's racism everywhere, but right now, the passion and the anger is so heavy. You feel everybody's weight. You know what I mean? This happens to be a time of anger but support from COVID-19, coronavirus, with people losing their jobs, not being able to pay their rent, their bills, not being able to buy food, not receiving help from the government, or to taking so long in receiving help from the government. Then as we plateau or peak, because you either gradually decrease or rapidly decrease in this virus, plans start to go out to reopen the world. Murder hornets are now released. Now, we not only have to think about our survival from a whole virus, we now have to think about giant hornets. And during this time, we have all kinds of videos, conspiracy videos, theory videos of how COVID-19 came about. There's a lady who planted COVID-19. There's an animal who started COVID-19. There's China who started COVID-19 from eating bats and snakes. We have so many videos on the purpose of COVID-19, why this happened, not to mention that plays a part in race as well. Now we move on to a few businesses are now opening. We're now in phase of opening up everything again, and it seems like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We now have a heartless, lack of humanity, cold cop who kills the world known name George Floyd in the most heart-wrenching, hideous way, with being advised that he's killing this man with his knee on his neck. And this is a buildup of rage from previous innocent black brothers and sisters who fell into our injustice system in this country. This sets off a whole new level of madness. So now you have people who don't care about the pandemic, who don't care about the law anymore, who don't care about police anymore, who don't care about being locked up anymore. We are now in multitudes protesting. Our social media feeds are being flooded with injustice, Black history, and knowledge of right-wing groups that are coming out even more. Tons of videos, protests of reaching across the world. The world. London, Italy, Montreal, Canada, New Zealand, Berlin. We are being tear gassed and shot with rubber bullets, along with a president insinuating war and old ways of militant order upon the American people. And all of this, everything I just named, from coronavirus to now, all of this weighs on the people, weighs on us. We feel it. It weighs on a multitude of us in the world. So a lot of us can't focus because we want to make a change. We want to do something to help impact this injustice or help impact people who are mentally going through it, and us to try to keep their spirits up. Because to be honest with you, that's one reason why I kept vlogging every day when COVID-19 first hit. Because it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I like being entertaining. I like being funny. I like being a silly person. And some people were really going through it at that time. And I wanted to give something to pick up their spirits, to put some kind of smile on their face. And I thank you guys, the ones who reached out to me and thanked me for making those videos, for making you laugh. That meant a lot. But to now top it all off, we are dealing with looters. We are dealing with people who have been breaking and entering into businesses that has been closed down, losing money due to a pandemic in the first place. Some of these businesses are not receiving help from the government. Eventually, maybe later, they can receive help. But you have to think, by that time, they may be so out of business, may be so low or so behind on funds, they just have to close down. I don't care how big or small these businesses are. I just wanted to shed light on our mental state and what is causing our mental state right now. There are some people who don't even turn on the news, they don't even turn on the radio, because they have to detach themselves just a little bit from all of that weight, all of that news, all of those words. So through all the people that I can relate to in that tweet, in those response, those comments of that question that Kay posted, I want to tell you that you're not alone. I understand you. I feel you, because I went and still going through the same thing. But I want to tell you that we got to keep our heads up. We got to keep going. We got to keep pushing, and we got to keep striving. We got to continue to love. We got to continue to be a shoulder to our neighbor. We got to continue to have our arms open and say, it's okay. I feel you. You might be going through it, but we're going to go through it together. We got to continue to get through this so we can teach our younger generation, people who are looking up to us, people who are coming behind us. If nothing else encourages you to keep pushing forward, you think about the people who are looking at you. I grew up being an activist because of my mother and my grandmother. So we have got to keep going strong. Continue to trust and believe in God. Continue to read His Word, because one thing about it, it is assuring, and it reassures you and reassures you. And as you keep reading, you get a fresh word all the time. Now, if you don't have any kind of attachment to that, I would say it is still important to find your spiritual ground, because without faith, you can end up lost. Continue to stay in prayer. I love you guys. Let's continue to push forward. To my black brothers and sisters, we've been going strong this long, and we're gonna keep on going strong. And to the other non-black brothers and sisters, if you support us, we appreciate you. We thank you. I do. You hear it from my own mouth to your ears. Thank you for listening. Thank you for looking at this video. Thank you for clicking on my channel. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. Peace and much love. And I'll see you on the other side of positivity.
Fit me like a puzzle piece. Be the jig to my saw. Be the inhale to my X. Breathe out while I breathe in. Be the fit to my diamond.